Ladies and gentlemen, this is Smackdown vs. Raw 2008 General Manager Mode. I am BrendenPlayz, and it's great to be back here with you guys once again for another episode of GM Mode. What is this, 2 for this week? Wow, we are really getting back on track with the GM Mode. That's pretty rare. So I plan on doing more GM Mode, of course, on a regular basis now that the whole Universe Mode, WrestleMania things died down a little bit. I've got a little bit more extra time in my hands. I'm not stressed out about that, so there's more time to put together for the GM Mode videos. So, what we have for you guys this week is we are slowly building up towards the Survivor Series pay-per-view. Not too far away, actually. I think it might be, 4 or 5 episodes away to Survivor Series, where I believe we have 2 guys in the Elimination Chamber match, and then we get a match of our own. I think somebody in the comment section answered that for me. So, another Elimination Chamber match. I don't know if I like that, but that's pretty cool. So it's a bit of an interpromotional matchup. So instead of having the 5-on-5 tag matches, they're going to have Elimination Chamber match, 2 from each brand in there, and the winning brand wins, wins the show, I suppose. So in hindsight, that's pretty cool. But we have to make sure we do that, make sure we win that. So probably at Survivor Series, we'll have just the 2 matches, and we may have to. I don't know if we'll play as. Playing the Elimination Chamber match to make sure we beat Raw and Smackdown. That might be a good idea because it's not really a title match or anything like that. So if you want me to play in the Elimination Chamber match, let me know in the comment section down below. So we trump Raw and ECW. We want to beat those 2 bastards. We want to make sure that we are the #1 brand because the ratings certainly aren't showing it. And at least so we have the bragging rights over the Survivor Series match. That'll be cool. So at the moment on your screen, you're seeing me just kind of building up our superstars. I'm doing like endurance and fan heat, fan favorites, just to kind of make it easy for these guys to get popularity, and plus make sure that they don't suffer injuries at a more frequent rate, and they recover their fatigue quicker. So it's time to build towards this week's main event, and of course the rest of the SmackDown card. So it is getting a little bit tough now to kind of do different combinations of matches to make sure that we keep our 2 rivals apart. So I'm trying to kind of keep them apart, do tag team matches, do fatal 4 matches, do manager matches and things like that, just to kind of make sure they're still facing off against each other, but not really directly. So that's a bit of a tough challenge in itself, because I want you guys to see something different every week, and also it helps to be doing different matches on each show. So obviously we may need to do some stipulations applied to these matches and things like that, just to kind of spice it up every week. I don't know, we'll see how we go, but I think I'm doing a pretty decent job so far. It's been a challenge throughout the whole series, and I think I'm doing okay. Some weeks, of course, are repetitive, but that's just, you can't really help that. So unless you want to do a lot of rivalry and play some matches, which I don't really want to do, because I want to continue building the rivalries and making sure they get 2 thumbs up, maybe even 3 thumbs up by the end of it, so we actually get better ratings per each match. So of course the more thumbs up, the longer the rivalry goes, the better ratings you'll get on the matches, and that's what we need to get. And we are struggling right now. We're falling behind the other brands, so we kind of need to amp it up and do a few more bigger matches each week to make sure that we do amp it up, make sure we do make the shows a little bit more special. So obviously there's going to be some matches that we can't exactly build up, because we have about 4 guys, I think, on the roster, maybe 5, I don't know, but that we aren't directly using in a rivalry. Maybe we should throw them together as a rivals, like these 4 guys here. Maybe we can do a tag team rival between those 4 guys, just so that if we do feature them on the card, they'll get better match ratings per each match that they contend with. So that might be an idea. Maybe we'll do that in the next few episodes. We'll see, but we'll leave it as is now for now, because obviously if we don't want to use those guys in 1 week, we can quite comfortably leave them on the sidelines, because we are doing a lot of tag team matches, as you can see. So we can easily split that away, rest some of those 4-man that we aren't really using properly, and instead have a few more singles matches and spread out the superstars a little bit to make our life easier. So we are going to change the match. That was a tornado tag team match. We're going to change it to a steel cage tornado tag team match, just to kind of amp it up a little bit. Hopefully get a bit better of a rating. Who are we going to play as this week? Try that again. I think we're going to play as The Undertaker, so that should be good. We're going to play against Brendan and Edge. Of course, Brendan and Batista are feuding. Undertaker and Edge are currently feuding, so this should be interesting, and make sure that we are continuously having the rivals face off, so we can continue to build towards Survivor Series. So I mean, Survivor Series is going to be difficult because, you know, we have to try and do our best in that Elimination Chamber match, but I believe we have the roster that we need to put on a good big matchup at Survivor Series. I think obviously the title match is going to be our main concern. Whether or not we'll turn it into a fatal 4-way, probably not really. I don't know, but whether or not we just keep it to Edge versus Undertaker, perhaps we may do, you know, I mean, we've done a lot of Hell in a Cell, done a lot of last minute standing matches, so perhaps we might change it up and do something different. We'll see. But here comes Batista, former World Heavyweight Champion Batista. And he's got a tough challenge, you know, he's kind of moving down the card a little bit, facing Brendan in recent weeks. I think Brendan's trying to move himself up the card, hasn't really had the luck that he's needed to kind of do so. I mean, he's had a bit of a rivalry with Triple H for the United States Championship. He was unsuccessful in doing so. Then he has now moved away over to Batista, and I feel as though Batista's getting the better of him too, so Brendan really needs a couple of big victories here to build him back up to potential main event status. Otherwise, he probably will drop back down the card again. And that's the world champion, ladies and gentlemen, The Undertaker.
You think you know me?
And here comes Edge, the Rated R Superstar, our newest member of the roster. We traded him in for, who did we trade him out for? Was it Elijah Burke? And I think it was a pretty good trade. We got Elijah Burke in. I think we got a couple of other guys as well. What was it? Maybe Gregory Helms or whatever. I'm having a mind blank who else we got in. But, oh, Mark Henry, sorry. Yeah, Gregory Helms was the trade beforehand. So we brought in Mark Henry. So we brought in a couple of extra superstars, and I think the roster's been bolstered up a little bit right now. I think the roster's probably looking the best it has in quite some time. And out comes the Beast now. Of course, he's my created superstar. Some of you guys requested that I play as the Beast. Well, I don't know. I guess we'll have a match with the Beast, and well, here's your wish. He used to look absolutely terrible, by the way. I don't know if you've seen like the old episodes of General Manager Mode, but God, he looked terrible. I always suck at creating cores. I mean, honestly, they look the same in every fucking game that I do. You see my Universe Mode core. If you play with me online, you'll pretty much say, "Wow, this looks exactly like your guy of GM Mode." And I don't know if you guys saw my old series. I used to do Road to Gold. Well, they practically look the same again on Road to Gold. So I do kind of have one style that I like and just stick to that constantly for my creator wrestlers. So I'm not really creative in that sense. I've tried to kind of branch out and do a little bit more cool things with my cores, like, I don't know, add more like jackets and things like that to their entrances, but hasn't really worked out. I really hope in the next 2K15 game that they do have a lot more customizable options, because in this game they've really got nothing. It's so difficult to make anybody look half decent in this one, and it's the same goes for all the older ones as well, even further back from this one. And this wasn't really that long ago. I guess when you think about it now, about 6 years ago, which is pretty crazy. But I think this game, really, you compare this to like 2010, 2011, there's really not a lot of change. It wasn't until about 2012, 2013, and now 14 that they really amped it up a lot. So I think this game, it still has its value as Edge gets launched into the cage. The first time I've seen the cage get used in this matchup. So I think for its time, it's a good game. But obviously, you compare it to the current game, and geez, isn't the current game a hell of a lot better than this? So, especially, you know, the main thing you can see it from is just the matches that the computer plays. So that alone just makes this game pretty bad to play, pretty bad to watch. So I do try and play more matches than not. I try to keep away from the title matches. Obviously, last week I had to play as Johnny Nitro. Otherwise, Johnny Nitro was going to walk. He was going to leave the brand. So I apologize for that. I don't think any of you guys really cared, anyways. You're like, oh, okay, cool. So it wasn't really a big deal. And like I said, I try to play as many matches as I possibly can, because of the computer factor that the matches they play, they're just terrible. So I'm doing everybody a favor by trying to make the match slightly more interesting. And I'm just beating the fuck out of Brendan right now, The Undertaker is. And Batista's looking good. He may be getting his finisher soon. So Edge and Brendan are really getting it taken to them right now as a Russian leg sweep taking down Brendan. Undertaker's pounding away on his bitter rival Edge right now. So hopefully this match pops a decent rating for us. Steel cage, tornado tag team match on the main event of SmackDown. Sounds pretty good to me. So if we can get a decent rating, that probably will, I don't know, maybe be enough to push us up a whole another star level, so we can get to the point where we are looking at that 4-star rated show. We really need to hit the 4-star rated shows, otherwise we're not going to improve in the rankings. If we just remain at 3-star, well, definitely 3-star, that's a no-go. But if we remain at the 3.5-star rated show, then we're not going to improve. In fact, we probably will go down the ratings, because Raw and ECW, they do pull off the occasional 4-star rated show, so we have to try and amp up our show a little bit, make sure we get a 4-star rated show. Well, Undertaker's made a bit of a mistake. He took out the referee, tried to take down Edge, but instead he got the referee down. Now he's got a submission hold on Edge. Batista trying to escape the cage on your left-hand side there on the screen. He's trying to get out. He's looking likely. Edge is back to his feet. Brendan's still down. I think Undertaker just took out Edge in the process. Batista's out of the ring, so that's one half of the Undertaker-Batista team out. Now Undertaker realized his partner's out. Brendan's trying to get to his feet. Has he got enough in the tank to get up? He doesn't. Will Edge now. Brendan's almost at his feet, but it's too late. Undertaker has escaped the cage, which means Undertaker and Batista win again. Edge and Brendan cannot catch a break. Batista, he escaped first. He found an opening, and then the Undertaker, he realized that he had an opening too. All he had to do was take down Edge one more time. He did that, and Brendan was still down for the count. Edge was down as well, so an easy victory for Batista and the Undertaker. They really just dominated Edge and Brendan, didn't they? So the former World Heavyweight Champion Batista and the current World Heavyweight Champion the Undertaker getting it done here tonight on SmackDown in the main event. So now we'll go and check out how exactly we did for this week's show. Hopefully we do indeed get some kind of a decent rating and try and get us back in the ratings war, man. We are falling behind. We got to get ourselves back on top, baby. So now we'll, as you can see, Batista and Undertaker, they defeated Edge and Brendan. Steel cage tornado tag team match. And we are November 1st now, so we're getting very close to the end of the year. So good match, I thought. It was a quick match. Obviously, Edge and Brendan, they struggled to kind of get themselves going in that one. So Batista and Undertaker proving too good. Jeff Hardy, he defeated Johnny Nitro, so the new Cruiserweight Champion getting beat by the old Cruiserweight Champion. MVP and Henry, they defeated Sabu and JTG. Shad and JTG. Team Extreme, they won. And John Cena won a Fatal 4-Way matchup. So you guys were giving me some names for what you wanted me to call MVP and Mark Henry. I think some of them like the World's Strongest MVPs or Hall of Fame or something. And there's some pretty good ones in there. So I'll have a look at the comments again and I'll make my official judgment. So Raw, they got a 2.5-star rated show. That's pretty poor from Raw. So we have a chance to kind of gain some ground on Raw this week. ECW, though, 3.5-star rated show. So that may cost us a little bit here. And of course, thanks to everyone for voting over on my poll on the website for who you want me to trade in next. 4-star rated show. Match for the Fatal 4-Way. Tag match 3.5-star rated. 3.5-star rated again for another tag match. 3.5 between Nitro and Hardy. And 4.5 for the main event. Yet we get a 3-star rated show. How the fuck does that work? I have no idea. This is what frustrates me on GMO. That's a 4-star rated show, man. And yet we're only getting 3 stars for it. Unbelievable. We're going to sign a couple of contracts, sort of a few things out. And obviously some guys are pretty pissed off. They want their title shots, and some of them aren't winning very, very often. So even though we give them a US title shot, it doesn't count. That's another frustrating thing as well. So you can't win really here on GMO. But that's going to do it for this edition of GMO this week. We gained probably a slight amount of ground. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, and I'll see you next episode.